Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm super excited to dive into today's conversation with Megan Grace. Now, I stumbled across her stunning work on Instagram, and I knew I had to bring her on the show. Now, Megan's talents lie in her ability to really see her clients, their stories, and the energy between them. The laughter, the fun, and the special quiet moments. Through experience, training, and trial, Megan has learned that drawing these moments out or capturing them when they present themselves rarely happens by chance. Through patience and experience, Megan has crafted a process and workflow that delivers relaxed, present, and connected clients who openly show up as themselves, allowing her to capture real representations of the moments and memories we all want to hold on to. She's based in Auckland, New Zealand, and is now leading the next generation of photographers with her group coaching program for photographers who want to level up their work, connect with their clients, and deliver powerful, emotive, show-stopping galleries. So without further ado, here is Megan. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm so excited to chat with you today. So tell us a little bit beyond that bio, who you are and what you're really passionate about.
So my name's Megan, as you said, and I live in Auckland, New Zealand. And I guess the biggest, or what I'm passionate about, is just being out and about with my family and enjoying our beautiful beachside living that we have here in New Zealand. You know, we're pretty much surrounded by water.
Yes.
Yeah, so we live in a little area just north of Auckland. And we live at the beach, so we can walk down to the beach in the weekends. We meet friends down there. We load up the trolley with all the gear for the kids. Got 3 young children, so they kind of keep us busy doing all of that. But I love spending time with them. We can basically drive. We can walk to the beach here, but we can drive to the West Coast in about 45 minutes to an hour. So we're so lucky in terms of all of the outdoor activities that we can do. And I guess that kind of relates or goes into my work as well with my clients, because I think that's kind of what I'm drawn to and passionate about in terms of my work, because I can spend my time with them with my feet in the water and in the sand and enjoying all of those moments that they have with their loved ones as well. So, yeah.
I love that. So you're doing what you love where you love to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I love that.
Very lucky.
So I love talking about success and finding out everyone's definition of success, because what I have really found over the year is that there's no one true definition of success. So what would you say success means to you?
I guess with photography and this career that I'm lucky enough to be in is, you know, I guess I kind of started it as a way to still be around my children. So our kids are 5, 8 and 10. So, they were quite a bit younger when I first started getting back into this properly. And I really wanted to stop travelling into the city for work, stop, spending an hour there, an hour back, sitting in someone's office. I wanted to be here if one of the kids was sick and I needed to drop things and go to them, or if they had something special on at school that I could kind of rearrange my schedule around. So I guess one of the biggest things for me is being able to have that work-life balance around my family. But also, photography is such a beautiful job and career. Like, it really fills my cup in a way as well. So, but that's probably one of the biggest things. And then I guess in terms of, for my clients, really being able to deliver galleries to them so that they can kind of see how they are with their families in this moment that they're in. You know, our children morph from these beautiful little newborn babies into gorgeous little squishy toddlers to kids. Like, my babies are kids now, and
I know.
We only really have...
It's painful.
Yeah, don't make me cry. So they're just growing up so quick. Like, I just feel like our oldest is going to be a teenager before we know it.
Yeah.
And we forget all of those little moments. So being able to show my clients how they are in that stage of their life and show how loved they are and how their children are, and so they can kind of remember, like, the way they smelt and the way that they like looked at them. But also, as your kids get older, being able to, I'm kind of digressing a little bit here, but as our children get older, and what I've noticed with my kids is that they love looking back at photos of themselves and how we love them. So as much as it's important for us to remember how our kids were at that stage and how we were with them, really seeing how they were loved, I think just really helps support them as well in their life. So, and then I guess with my coaching too, for my, what I kind of define as success around that is really getting to see, I think the confidence is probably the biggest part of it, which I kind of, going into it, I didn't really realise how big a piece of the puzzle that would be for my students. So really having the confidence to realise that they are good enough to do this, that they can do it as a full-time job, and that they can charge the prices that they should be getting, you know, in terms of for their career. So to make it a full-time job.
I love that. I think those are some great definitions of success. And I'm the same. It's like time. Time is my, like, it's funny, for years, I think I was chasing, like, I think it was money and like being a 6-figure photographer or being like fully booked. And I'm like, actually, what I really want is probably more time with my people. So
yeah, I mean, and that, you know, we all want to be able to have the nice things and go on the holidays, and that's all, you know, up there. But when it comes down to it, time is 100% what we all need, right?
Yeah.
And I think we probably get to know that a little bit more once we're out of that, when we're in the thick of the newborn stage, and it just feels like it's never going to change. We're going to be with the, you know, we're always going to be like on the treadmill with, you know, rocking to sleep and car seats and buckling in and all those things. And then now it's like, well, actually, that really went so fast. And now
so
it's
fast
to hold on to that and not let it disappear in a blink.
I know. It's funny. The other night, my son fell asleep on the couch. He's 13. And so my husband and I are like, what do we do? Like, we can't carry him to bed. He's like huge. Like, we're going to break ourselves if we try. And we're like, when did this happen?
I know.
When did he get so big that we can't carry him?
The other night, my daughter was struggling to go to sleep, so she fell asleep in our bed, and my husband yelled out to me. It was kind of, you know, we were heading to bed, and he yelled out and he said, come and look at this. And he had scooped her up somehow. I don't know how. I mean, she's 10, but she's all arms and legs.
Oh, it's so gangly,
Yeah, same, like, I mean, not as big as your 13-year-old, obviously, but there were just legs and arms everywhere. It was the cutest thing, but she used to be so tiny.
I know, right? And like, I know, and like, all those times that you were like, I need 5 minutes. I'm trying to get something done. I'm like, I wish I just stopped and picked you up. I wish I did.
I know,
hindsight, right?
Because then it's like, oh, I just need a minute.
Right? I know. It's
crazy. Life is crazy.
It is. And I remember when my son was born, someone said, like, don't blink because it goes by so fast. And I was like,
yeah,
this is exhausting. And then I'm like 13 years later, I'm like, they were right. They were right.
It's the fastest but the slowest time. It's the most bizarre thing to try and get your head around. We've just got to ride the wave.
I know. You just got to ride it. You just got to ride it. Whatever moment, like whatever season of parenting you are currently in is the hardest. Like, that is it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So switching back to photography a little bit, I love looking through your work because undeniably you have a stunning and a cohesive style. Now, what advice do you have for those photographers maybe struggling with that consistency in their work?
So I truly believe that we need to kind of start looking at us as photographers and as artists before we try to find a style and find an edit that we love and all of, you know, and Instagram and following photographers and things. I think if you pull it right back and if we just start by looking at what really, what makes our hearts happy and what our story is to start with and what inspires us to create the work that we do, I think if we start there and pull it back, then it kind of will naturally lead into your work developing and your client's story kind of being wrapped up in that. And it will just naturally become your style because it's what it's part of you rather than kind of just trying to find that style. So it's fun. Yeah, this question actually, I was just looking back at some old work last week, and although my edits changed a little bit, wardrobe has changed a little bit, my camera has, or my technique has got better. Really, I can see my style right from the beginning. in terms of me. I can see me in that. I can see how I am with my kids. I can see how I feel and what I want to remember about my children being little. But also, as much as it's my story, that's one piece of the puzzle, then pulling your client's story into it to really see how they are. So yes, I want to try and get them to pull out all of these feelings that they have with their children, but in their own way, so it's really authentic to them. So if they don't kiss their kids on the lips, I don't want them to kiss their kids on the lips, you know, like really kind of showing me how they would play with them and cuddle them and rock them. And you know, if they don't throw them in the air, we're going to do that. So it's really kind of wrapping all of that into one, I find, has helped me keep that consistency along the way.
Yeah, that makes sense. So your work also seems like a stunning combination of both posed and authentic directed moments. As you've mentioned, you're asking those little prompts. Do you find you spend much time with your clients directing them? Do you have to, or do you find that you really just let the moments unfold?
Yeah, so this is actually really intentional on my part. So it's interesting that you can see that, because that's what I'm really trying to do along the way. So I really believe that my workflow leads to, which starts right from the very beginning, from when my clients get in touch with me and from when they look at booking. From that very moment right through to the session is me trying to prep them, make them feel relaxed, get them to think about how they are with their kids, so that on the night of the session, they can just kind of be themselves and they've just got me tagging along. So yes, I do direct, definitely. At the beginning of the session, I direct a lot. And depending on the family as well, some families need a little bit more support and some don't. But really, by the time we get to a session, I know them quite well. Yeah. And so really, I will start with directing, and then it kind of, they'll naturally start to feel more and more relaxed as the session goes on, and then I just wait. So waiting, I like to direct and get them feeling comfortable in a certain spot that looks good with the light and the wind and the whatever is going on around us, but then kind of encouraging them to show me themselves, and then just waiting for that moment to kind of come forward. But I really believe that, you know, right from the get-go with the prep guides and the questionnaires, and I jump on a call with my clients as well, so that we can kind of put a face to the name. There it is. You know, a lot of photographers have said to me, it's so much more work doing that, but it just pays off so much. Yeah. Really connecting with them and showing them that you're just a normal person, like we talked about before, that it's just us really in this, and that I am here to show them their family and their family story and how they are with their kids. So I really believe that if we kind of do all of that, the clients or my mums are really feeling good about what they're going to wear. They're going to feel confident when they get out of the car, and they know how to prep their husband and the kids, and she's not worried about that because I've explained how that will work and what I do to kind of support the kids along the way during the session. Then we get to the shoot, and little things might crop up that are out of our control, and that's easy because we've done all of the hard work. We're all ready to go. The client's relaxed. If little things crop up, then that's just a simple quick fix, and we just kind of adjust during the session. But it's not really going to flip the whole session upside down at that point because we've put the work in beforehand. So yes, in answer to your question, I do direct, but it's all very intentional in a way of kind of getting them to relax so that they can then show me themselves.
I love that. What I notice also in your work is a lot of motion and movement. Like they're like twirling or spinning or kissing or like walking, or there's some sort of movement. Now that's got to be intentional as well. But I know for a lot of photographers, and myself previously included, we often get these clients that just freeze. And so do you have any favorite prompts to encourage that motion and movement in your images?
Yeah, so just thinking about the images and that they are, I have always been really drawn to that messy, imperfectly perfect in a way, because they're still beautiful. They still look amazing and look their best. But also I think that's just part of my story wrapping into it in a way, because like we've got 3 kids. Life is messy and busy and chaotic, but it's also amazing. Like, these kids are just so beautiful, and we have just the most amazing life. And I think that's what pulls into it for me. It's really kind of that whirlwind of life that I'm trying to replicate there. But yeah, so in terms of going into a session, if it's not windy, I'm getting them to move. If it is windy, I'm like, yes, we've got some wind tonight. I'm not going to have to make them do silly things. But really, sorry, where have I got to with that question? I'm kind of...
All good. We were talking about favorite prompts.
Sorry, I'm like,
it's all good. I do that all the time. So my ADHD brain is like, I'm over here now. Oh, good.
So the favourite prompts that one of my favourite prompts actually, and that probably is movement, but it's really there's so many things along the way that I love to do in terms of that movement and getting that into my images, because I just feel like it kind of adds that natural emotion into the work as well, like in a really kind of cheats way. Like, you don't really have to do much. It's just this beautiful added emotion in there. But one of my favourite prompts is towards the end of a session, when it's all, my sessions are an hour long. So if the kids are small, so 2 or under, then by blue hour they're all getting quite sleepy or a bit over it, or just a little bit scratchy. And also the sun is setting quite late here at the moment, so it's getting a little bit late for them. So one of my favourite things to do, instead of asking the parents to really kind of keep them going and keep them happy and smiling, because we've got that at the beginning of the session when they were okay, when they were, fresh. So towards the end of the session, instead of kind of trying to get them to do something that they're really not into, I really just ask the parents to just enjoy them and snuggle them in and let them up and give them a big, like one of my things that I quite often say, like, I'll say, don't worry if she's a bit tired, let her snuggle in and put her into you and just snip her hair. Do you remember what she smelled like when she was a baby or when she was little? They just smell so good. And then I say, take a deep breath, and just naturally, I think the movement of taking a deep breath as well is something in that. Like, whenever I'm colouring photos, I'm like, oh, there's the deep breath. So taking a deep breath and just really enjoying them in that moment. And I kind of have goosies thinking about it. But I think I've spent so many hours with my children doing that exact same thing when they were small, that it's just really, it's just, as hard as it was at the time, it's just one of those moments that you just don't want to let go of. So that's one of probably my favourite prompts. And it works really well when the kids are getting tired at the end of the night and they just want to come up with mum or dad.
I love that. I love that. So you do coaching as well. And I want to talk a little bit, because I've had mentors over the years. And I think one of the hardest things with finding a mentor is becoming coachable and learning to trust your mentor. So can you share your approach to building your clients' and your students' trust?
Yeah, so I take the same approach with my students that I do with my clients. So I really just want to connect with them and find out what success means to them. We're all so different, and I want, when I started this journey, I wanted to create my own path in terms of my story and what, lights me up. So really, I'm not trying to teach my students how to be like me by any means. Yeah. I'm giving them some tools along the way that will help them to get to the goal that they want. So it's really kind of connecting with them in a way that, I will jump on voice notes on Instagram with them before they've even signed up, just to chat with them about life, about where they're at, what they're trying to achieve. I want to make sure that we fit together as well. Yeah. So I actually have an application process with my program, so that I'm not just, people aren't just booking in, because I want them to make sure that they want me to work with them and that we connect. And the same for me with them as well. So that connection is so important for me in every aspect of my business.
Yeah, I love that. I think with my experience with coaches is like having someone who doesn't think for you, but helps you learn how to think for yourself. Yeah. Has been, because you can't outsource the thinking. That's one thing that I've really had to learn the hard way. Right?
Same. I know, yeah. It's really, I think just I mean, I love a chat and I love having conversations with like-minded people as well. And I guess that is probably what comes into it a lot for me, is really kind of connecting with people and using these awesome platforms that we have like Instagram to really kind of, see what it is that does it for them, and really kind of what they're really hoping to get out of this journey, and kind of getting them to understand that it can be more than just this side hustle. It can be more than just a job because we have kids and it works around our family. It can be more than that, you know?
Yeah. I think often our photographer students and friends maybe forget how capable they are. And sometimes they just need that little love and coaching along the way too.
Yeah. I think that when I went into coaching, I had this, this is the workflow that we do to get these authentic moments. And it's, if you follow these steps, and which I still believe this is a big piece of the puzzle, but for my photographers coming in, the biggest thing for them is confidence, lack of confidence, lack of belief in themselves. I don't know if that's something that we lose when we have children, because I'm pretty sure that we've not always been like that.
It's funny, you're right. And I think also because I think we all suffer a bit from imposter syndrome. So and it's almost like the longer you've been in this, the stronger the imposter syndrome gets.
Oh, yeah, totally. Right. We need to stay in our lane and put our blinkers on, and it's so easy to be derailed though, isn't it?
It truly is. It truly is. And it's funny because you don't even realize you're being derailed, and then you derail yourself and you're like, nobody else put me in the ditch but me.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Crap. And that's why you need a mentor.
We all do.
We really do.
Yeah.
Now, can you share maybe a favorite session and why it's one of your favorite sessions?
Yeah, actually I was thinking about this, and I talk a lot about my younger families and cuddling these babies and really having these beautiful moments with our little ones, but so they're probably mostly the sessions that I get as younger families, but I do quite a lot of older families with teens, and I love them so much because I think I get a little bit competitive, just a little, and I like to really show people that your kids don't have to be little to have photos. You can still have these amazing moments with your kids no matter what age they are. So there's one family in particular that booked, and the mum was like, oh, my oldest son is 19 or 20 and I just don't think he's going to be into it, but he's going to be gone soon and he's going to have girlfriends and then I'm not going to be loved, and all this kind of stuff. And then her youngest was actually 6, so she had this big range of 4 children, and so I was like, okay, I've got a plan. We've got this location and we're going to walk in, and it's going to take us 15 or 20 minutes to walk in, and we'll chat and the kids will relax and the boys will see that I'm not too crazy and old and that we can just have a bit of a laugh and be silly, and it's just relax, it's just me. So we did all the prep and got all organised. She was feeling really good and super excited, and then we got to the session day, and I brought all of the things in that I'd been working on over the years, and this workflow that I was super confident was going to work for every family no matter what. And I tweak it a little bit depending on the age. Obviously, if I'm not going to take a 20-minute walk for a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old. But for older families, walking into a location is so good for them just to be able to relax. And also for us as photographers, because it can be a little bit, daunting going in with these older kids and all of a sudden we're the old ones.
Right.
Yeah, so we got into the session, and we start off with the look at me and smile photos, and that's all good. And I've got those for her, and she's nervous, and I can tell. And then we work through this flow of, we start here and then we walk down there and then over there. And I can just see the boys' shoulders relaxing, and they're kind of playing with their little sister, and they're being smart with their dad, and, they're suggesting different things that they could do. And I was like, yes, this is just exactly what I was hoping for. And then right towards the end of the session, I love the whole gallery, to be honest, but towards the end of the session, I've got their feet in the water, the waves are splashing, the sky is pink, It's just absolutely beautiful. And the boys are just all over their mum. And, I mean, the little girl was like the star of the show, don't get me wrong. It was like all about her. She was just on fire. But I was watching these boys and the dad. But the boys were just all over mum. And I've got these beautiful photos of their arm draped around her. It's so them and how they are with her. And she has got the hugest smile on her face. It is just so cool. So, yeah, I think that is probably up there with one of my favourite sessions, I think. Just kind of showing her that they're still her babies and they do love her still and they're always going to be there, you know?
Love that. Totally. You know, it's funny because I hadn't thought about a session I had very similar to that years ago. And there was this one little boy and he was probably about 12 or 13. Loved playing guitar, got picked on a lot. And we ended up doing a rock star shoot for him.
Oh.
And like the mom was like, and that's not my genre. That's not something I do. But I was like, let's just do something different. And just like the mom, like after, like I have pictures of her because we did family photos with it too. Her just so happy, her son just feeling like himself and having that confidence. So like,
yeah, it doesn't
I
fit
love
if you
that.
Don't do rock star shoots. It doesn't like let's just make our kids feel like them and feel loved and feel confident in themselves. That's all it really comes down to, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, it's funny because we forget, like when you're in the day to day, I think you forget the impact that what our lenses and our eyes and our and how we see a family can affect a family or a child or confidence, and how we do have an incredible power to show them how amazing they are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what we were saying before, right? Like my kids just love looking back at themselves with us and photos of us with them and how they were carried. But even as they get older and looking back a year ago, just how they've changed and growing up into these big kids, it's just,
I need to print more photos. My son doesn't even have a baby album. I know.
Right. Like all the photos.
I love it. So you ready for our lightning round?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So oceans or mountains and why?
Well, you can probably guess ocean. For sure. Oh, it's funny because I grew up in the country, so I'm a farm girl, but not many people believe me when I say that. But yeah, we grew up in the country, but spent a lot of time at our family beach house, which is in the Coromandel. So if you ever come, you've got to go to the Coromandel. It's so beautiful. So lots of time on boats and in the water, and definitely
dreamy,
ocean.
dreamy. Most luxurious vacation you've ever been on?
I'd have to say probably our honeymoon to Hawaii, but purely because prior to that we'd done a lot of backpacking.
Oh yeah.
We had done, we were traveling through Europe and on a budget, and then we got married and all of a sudden we stayed at this resort for 10 days and it was amazing. So it was definitely probably up there.
I love it. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, I didn't know really. This is one thing I'm trying to instill in my children, that it's okay to not know, because I took photography at school and I learnt photography in a dark room and on film, and I loved it, but I didn't end up doing that straight away. That took time and timing is everything. But anyway, back to your question. Here we go again, chatting. So really, I think I loved the idea of travelling the world. So I decided I wanted to be a travel agent, but I actually don't think I wanted to be a travel agent. I just wanted to travel.
Did you know that I am also certified as a travel agent that never worked as a travel agent because I also just wanted to travel?
That's so funny. No, I wasn't ever officially a travel agent. I worked for a bus tour, for backpackers in New Zealand here for a little while, but then I was like, well, actually, I'm not making any money, and I just went overseas. So I went overseas when I was 21.
I love it. I got certified when I think it was 21, 22, and then that was sort of when the internet and people started booking online, and so the travel agency that was going to hire me, they're like, actually, we don't have a job for you. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to do something else now.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's go traveling.
Sounds right.
The joy of being 21.
What song lifts you up when you're feeling down?
I'm probably going to get teased for this because I love. If I'm feeling down, I crank on this or on my Alexa actually the Mariah Carey or Ariana Grande or anything super girly and loud and with big voices. It gets me.
I love it. I love it. My it's gonna get me flamed. Is my favorite song is "November Rain" by Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah.
Like that is my jam.
You get on well with my husband.
Like that part when it amps up at the end, and it's funny because I can play piano, and like this is the one song that I still know how to play. And my husband's like, he knows when I'm in a mood when November Rain is happening. Yeah. So
I know. Yeah, my husband knows if he walks in and I've got Mariah Carey cranking, he just walks away.
I love it. What's your favorite comfort food?
Actually, there's an amazing Chinese takeaway shop just down the road from us, and they do a wonton soup. And if I'm ever feeling down about life, we'll get that, and it just fixes everything. So good.
Nice. I love it. Where do you feel most centered and happy?
Probably at, I mentioned the Coromandel before, where we go, and probably there with my feet in the sand, with the surf, with the sun on my back. That's it. That's the dream. If I could chase summer, if I could just not have to worry about winter. So that's probably the dream one day, is to take this coaching and really push it and do retreats and just be able to travel, bring all of those things that I love into it, support people.
I love that. Love it, love it, love it. What has been the best piece of business advice you've ever been given?
Sorry, this is...
Okay.
Okay, so really investing in yourself and investing in, no matter how you do that really, and investing in time to put into growing and developing yourself as a photographer. But also, we're photographers, we take beautiful photos. It's really all the business things. We're expected to kind of just know and be able to put on all of these different hats,
And we don't.
We don't. And we're not good at everything. We're not great at, some things. And my husband is great at that, and he can happily take anything to do with accounting. Yeah. But, it's really...
Budgeting? What's that?
You just buy the dresses. So it's really kind of investing the time to keep developing ourselves really, and kind of growing and showing our clients that we're still growing and developing, because it's not just a normal job where you go into a corporate world and you sit down and you learn your job and then that's it, that's the job that we do. Where if you want to keep growing and growing your business and growing your work and your art, we're forever evolving, aren't we? So to have that support along the way, I think, is really key to kind of the success of where you go.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Now, what advice would you give to your younger photographer self?
Well, just thinking before about the Megan in the dark room at high school, I would probably say just hold on. The time will come. Photography will come. Believe it or not, one day you will have a career with photography. So I just thinking about my younger self, that I would just be so stoked if, to think that one day that was going to happen, and just to, know what future I have and what's to come still. And just timing is everything.
It really is. It really is. So where can our listeners more from you? Can you share a little bit about your coaching program?
Yeah, so my I actually have another coaching my coaching program is called 8 Weeks to Authentic Family Photography. So it's called Chasing Connections. I basically work alongside the photographers in 2-week blocks, so it's broken into 4 modules. And we work through the program together, but in saying that, I have 3 kids, we know how busy life is, so the content is available to come back and rewatch. But I have another program starting in February, on February the 13th actually, and it's open for applications at the moment. there are some spaces left. So if you would like to jump in and chat with me and learn a little bit more about that, you can go to megangracephotography.co.nz, and there's a tab on there for photographers where they can read more. And then, they can message me or just jump on DM. I love a voice note and I love a chat. Yeah.
Love that. And we'll make sure to include that link in the show notes too. So I love to end my interviews just with this last question. And it is, what are you currently curious about or artistically curious about?
So currently curious about really this diving deeper into coaching and supporting other photographers. Really diving into setting photographers up in a way that they can feel confident in what they're doing and really push to that next level, feel confident in pushing their prices up. I've had a photographer that is currently talking about doubling her prices at the moment and having the confidence to do that. I think, but, the lack of confidence was big. So really kind of growing on that, I just would love to be able to develop this more. I would love to be able to... in the pipeline at some point is to do retreats and to get together in real life. That is one thing that I'm really missing from this, is the connection and bouncing off people and really getting that energy from each other. Although in the coaching program at the moment we have a Facebook group and the women in there are just amazing and super supportive. It just would be so much more amazing in real life. So watch the space. And we're beautiful with our feet in the water, no doubt.
I love that. I love that. Well, Megan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Oh, my beautiful friends, I hope you loved this conversation just as much as I did. I'm sending you so much of my light and love today and every single day. We'll see you next time.